This is it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Colby Health and Wellness Podcast. This is part of my effort to give you a zero cost to consumer platform so that you can finally understand all of these pieces of your health and finally understand what to do about it and how to actually make a meaningful improvement in your health and in your life. You might notice this time we finally have some sort of video component to the podcast. For those of you who decide to be listening simply remotely or just through the audio portion, that's totally fine. That's what I've been doing for a while, and I thought, hey, it can be a great thing. It can be a great opportunity to, in the future, draw out some of these things and show you what exactly we're trying to explain it and how we're trying to, how do I say this? Just convey information better to you guys when I am talking and when I'm explaining things, just so you guys don't get lost with me. So, without further ado, today we are finally getting into what to do when you are losing weight and you hit a bump in the road, so to speak. You hit a period where you're like, oh my gosh, well, maybe I've been losing 2 to 3 pounds a week, which is normal, which is ideal. And then you say, oh, fuck, well, I haven't lost, a pound in 2 weeks. And a lot of people get really concerned about this. And this is something that I see with a lot of people who struggle with their weight loss program, and they see this and they get all discouraged, they get all frustrated, they get all upset, and they say, man, coach, this is not working right now, coach. I think we're to the end of this, coach. I don't know what to do, coach. I'm frustrated, coach, this, coach, that. People get upset, and understandably so, because you want to be losing weight consistently and you want it to be coming off a whole lot faster than it's coming off. And it's an aggravating thing. Like, I understand it. I think I can recall when I was doing a bodybuilding show as a natural athlete, I struggled like hell for like 2 weeks because I dropped, like, the previous week I dropped like 2 pounds, and I was like fuzzy and I was groggy and I was tired. I had no energy. I couldn't focus on anything. And I was like, fudge, man. And for like 2 weeks, I could not lose weight. And I just kept consistent on the plan. And eventually, I lost the weight. Eventually, I was able to compete. Some of those pages are on the Colby Health and Wellness Instagram. So if you guys hop on over there, you'll be able to see some of those photos and some of those amazing reminders to myself that I try to post for you guys to show, look, there is a way to do this. It's not just magically being gifted amazing genetics, because the reality of the matter is I definitely don't have the best genetics either, unfortunately. But a lot of us out there unfortunately don't have the best cards dealt to us, but we do make the best of the situation that we have. And I'm here to tell you, just about everyone out there, I'll say this, everyone that I have coached has been able to reach their fitness goals given they give it enough time. I'm not saying that someone's 400 pounds is going to be able to drop down to, 100 pounds overnight, but with enough time and proper lifestyle interventions, we'll say, things get done. So let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about the things that make this happen, the things that are frustrating as hell, honestly. So I'm going to give you a situation, right? Situation is you have been dieting for a couple weeks. You've been saying, okay, I'm losing weight, and all of a sudden, you're at the same calories and you stop losing weight. Well, there's a couple ways to go about this, and I'm going to talk about a couple of different things and how you can exactly lose this weight, because it's really fucking frustrating. So option number one is you go into what is called a ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diet was a really popular fad diet. I want to say it was like, what was it, like 2018 to, I don't know, 2022 or something like that. It was like vegan, keto, and then it was carnivore. Carnivore is like the new thing, which, by the way, I think is a terrible diet. But that's just me. Anyways, get on the keto diet. You can try the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet is a diet that I use, honestly, at the end of a lot of people's weight loss journey. If they've been losing weight, they're losing weight, and all of a sudden, like, they're just struggling to get past this, and it's like, this is the one thing that stands between them now and like them at like their ideal peak, is like this one thing. That's when I put in the ketogenic diet, right? And so it's to help people get over that last hump. It's one of those things that I took from bodybuilding coaches, and I thought it was extremely effective, because these guys are looking at people and like, damn, like, I mean, this is something they would put in like if they're 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out from a show, and they're just not losing the weight anymore, dog, hop on a keto diet right away. Like yesterday, hop on a keto diet. And so what this does is this ketogenic diet involves essentially the near complete absence of carbohydrates, right? And so if people want to do this diet, perfectly by the book, they're going to get the ketone strips, and you're going to get the, whatever else there is involved. Well, really, it's just the ketone strips. And then people try to get all of these damn foods out there that say, oh, this is ketogenic, pizza, and this is ketogenic this, and this is a ketogenic. You can toss all that crap aside, because the reality of the situation is when you look at a lot of those foods, it still has carbs, and the ketogenic diet is said hey, this is what you need to do to enter a state of ketosis and not have carbohydrates. That's how you enter the ketogenic diet. That is what you do. You literally just stop eating carbs. That's it. That's all you do. Rocket science, I know. So my point is, it just really pisses me off when I see, keto ice cream. And you look at the label, and the shit still got like 60 grams of carbs in like 4 servings. And I'm like, no, this is not keto. This is you taking Ben & Jerry's ice cream and putting a keto label on it. Like, that's all that it is. Like, it is ridiculous how many things out there have that label on it. And it's like, this is definitely not fit the keto diet. Like, there's no way. This is like cheat meal beyond a keto diet, bro. This is ridiculous. So anyways, my point is, to properly enter a ketogenic diet, you just got to be eating fat and protein. No carbohydrates. This involves no sugar. So you're going to be eating, for the most part, you're eating meat, you're eating fats, you're eating vegetables, you can eat nuts. Nuts are great on this diet. And things like that. You just can't be eating fruits. You can't be eating any processed sugars. You can't be eating anything like that. And it's kind of frustrating. It sucks a little bit. And that's why I don't, keep people on it for a super long period of time, is because it's a great way to switch up the metabolism and lose that last little bit of weight that people might be struggling to lose, is going on a ketogenic diet, because what it does is you have glycogen in your cells, right? And so this glycogen is the glucose is what gives the muscle the ability to, it feeds on the glucose in order to perform its actions. And then when it gets exhausted, it essentially feeds off of more glucose. And, that's how you get energy, right? In a normal metabolic state is how you get energy. When you go into a ketogenic state, you are depleting the entire body. It takes about 2 to 3 days to do it, but you are depleting the entire body of all of these carbohydrates, and thus the glycogen that goes along with them, right? So the liver is going to run out last, and your skeletal muscle is going to run out first, and your body switches over to running off of ketones, right? And so the crazy thing is, that glycogen in the muscle, it holds a lot of water with it. It's something crazy, like a 1 glycogen molecule to like 3 water molecules that go along with it. Like, it is insane the amount of water that your muscles and your body holds with the carbohydrates, right? And that's how you hear about athletes that are like, oh, I spilled over during stage order. Yeah, it's really just because, and women on their period too, especially, you have a really interesting interaction, just because of the spikes in the hormones and whatnot. You have a really, really interesting interaction with how glycogen and water behaves in the body, and if it goes into that interstitial layer or not. So there are sometimes people will wake up and they'll be like, oh, well, I look way better than I did yesterday. Or on the contrary, they'll be like, oh, I look way worse than I did yesterday. And part of it is because of that water in the interstitial layer, which is a really interesting interaction. But just for today's topic and conversation, just so you know, it's not all in your head. Sometimes it does play in your body, and I would expect it to change in a couple of days' time, and you don't really have to worry about it. But getting back to the ketogenic diet, that is something that I would implement to help someone lose that last little bit of weight, right? Because what happens is, whoosh, the water comes off because the glycogen comes out of the muscle, and you say, wow, man, this is great. And so ketones are running the body then. And so your body is relying off these ketones. And that's essentially the process of turning fat into energy, right? And so your body is turning that fat into energy. And so what happens? Well, normally your energy goes something like this throughout the day. It's going to go, okay, well, this is good. And then you get a meal. And then people who have poor glucose tolerance or something like that, it spikes up and then goes way down. And it comes back up to baseline, and it peters out. It struggles in there. And you get another meal. We get all these yo-yos throughout the day, especially with like super heavy carb diet that doesn't have it's not coated, it's not dressed, as I say, because if you dress these carbohydrates, it's very evident in literature. If you dress the carbohydrates with protein, with fat, or something like that, it significantly reduces those blood sugar spikes, right? And so, when we have just regular food, I should say, just regular energy that is steady, right, without carbohydrates, it's pretty much just steady throughout the day. The blood glucose is steady throughout the day. You don't have a ton of peaks and troughs and the energy and things like that. And so that can help a lot of people who might have like a glycemic issue. If they're allowed to, start the ketogenic diet, it's a great way to handle it. A lot of people, they experience, great things. They have great things to say about the ketogenic diet. So I am a big fan of a keto diet, and I would say, you know what, if you're getting towards the end and you're kind of struggling, I would try it. You really just got to know that you just got to make sure you understand that you're not going to get the same pumps that you were before in the gym. It's just not going to be something that happens. It obviously, because the water is not in the muscle. So if you don't have water in the muscle, you're like, oh shit, I'm not gonna get as big a pump. It's just is what it is, right? It's not a big deal. But this is something for it's just for this period of time. I will say you can still build great muscle on a keto diet. It's just not something that's great for a long-term period. Like deep into keto, as in like months and months and months on keto. I would put someone on keto for 3 months max, and then I would switch the metabolism pathway back to normal. That's what I would do, unless someone has like a super specific situation that they need something else. But all in all, like basically, dude, like I would do that for a couple months tops, and then I would switch back to something else, and I would go another way. That's just me. So that's one option to get past one of those. We're just stalling with the weight. We're just not able to get anything done, right? And I say that, and I use that at the end, because like people aren't really interested in dropping any more calories at that point. But if you're someone that's doing this at the beginning and you're saying, oh man, well, I'm struggling, I don't know how the hell to lose this weight now. Let's say you peaked for a week or 2 weeks and you're just staying there. You are just not moving down on the scale at all. This might come as fucking rocket science, but drop the calories. Oh my God, did we ever think of that? Drop the calories and you'll lose weight. Holy shit. It's rocket science. It actually isn't rocket science. It's basic bro science. That's not even bro science. That's just basic fundamentals of laws of thermodynamics. Like the less food you got going in, the more weight you're gonna lose. So, anyways, yeah. I mean, you just gotta drop the calories. And when I say drop the calories, there's a couple interesting ways that you should modify the calories, and so that it's still beneficial for you. I still want you to keep the protein high. I really just want you to be pulling down on the carbohydrates. I want you to keep the fats as high as you possibly can within reason. Unless you're someone with an absolutely awful cholesterol. In that case, yeah, you can drop the fats a little bit. But like nobody should be dropping the fats below like 50. Like ideally, based on your body, you want the fats anywhere from 50 to 100 grams of fat, ideally. About 70 grams would be great. And then your carbs are going to be the ones like 400 carbs or something like that. Like drop down the carbohydrates, dude. Drop down those sugars, and I would say that's where you want to be working off of, because you want to keep the protein high, because the protein high stimulates that muscle synthesis. And I know that the ladies don't really want to you don't really want to build a bunch of muscle, and that's fine. I promise you're not. If you actually knew what it took to build muscle like that, like you would never worry about it again. But my point is, and I come back to this, my point is that like just keep the protein high, because the sexy, firm, toned look that you want, both in males and females, requires a ton of protein, like way more protein than you actually think it requires. It's very interesting. I would say for me and for my clients, I try to aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and that's really that's where I see the best results is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. This is stuff that Arnold Schwarzenegger said, back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, this is not rocket science. This is nothing new. That's just a great spot to be is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And then keep the fats as high as you can, and then just work off the carbs, man. You just want to decrease the carbs, and that's what I say. Like when people get down so low in the calories, they're like, coach, like I don't want to cut, like I can't cut this any lower. Okay, well then just pull them away entirely, and then see what happens, right? And so that's that comes back to that keto idea. So what do we got so far? We've got dropping the calories, right? Shocker there. Enter a ketogenic diet, right? And so we use that at the very end. Bam! That last little bit, bam! We can finally drop below the threshold and lose some more weight. And then the other thing you can do is just literally just freaking wait it out, because if the scale is going something like this, scale is going something like we lost 3 pounds this week. 2.5, then 2 pounds, then 1.5, then 1 or whatever. Like if you're slowly just like trickling down and like you're just petering out to nothing, yeah, I would say you need to drop the calories in. But like if you just drop the calories or something like that, like the body needs, in some cases it needs time to adapt. And then in other cases, it just requires a little bit of time and patience. And a lot of people will wake up and like one day they'll drop like 2 or 3 pounds. Like the body's just trying to hold because it's in a state of starvation. So it's trying to hold on to all the mass that it possibly can, both fat and muscle, for a little bit of time. But it can only do that for so long. It can only modify and change your metabolism for so long before it's like, okay, well, we just gotta drop this fucking fat off, because the body wants to keep this fat on, right? It wants you. The brain is programmed so that you eat these delicious foods. You eat these amazing glazed donuts. You eat these big, honking cheeseburgers with a ton of fat in them. Like, yeah, it tastes good. And so, like, dropping the calories is not fun. But my point is that you drop those calories and you are going to be able to lose the weight. You might need to wait a little bit. And the body says, hey, I realize I'm not going to get what I want doing this, so we're just going to drop the weight off. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating, but it kind of happens that way sometimes. So you can also just wait it out, legitimately wait it out. But if you feel like you're just petering off and you've been like nowhere for like 3 or 4 weeks, yeah, maybe cut the calories again. That's what I would do. But just don't go too freaking low in the calories, dude. So what's the other thing you can do? The other thing you can do to overcome one of these things is kick the cardio up. Right? I mean, so far we have ketogenic diet, we have, drop the calories. You can kick the cardio up, because really the only way that you're going to be able to lose the weight is you need to be taking in less calories than you're burning. And so really what that comes down to is you can either eat less or you can exercise so much that you don't have to eat less. I'm going to tell you right now, a good mix of both is best for pretty much everybody. I would say, if you're doing 20 minutes on the bike, maybe consider 30 or 40 minutes on the bike. And it's not like you can go like, oh, well, I've been doing 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, so now I'm going to do 22 minutes or like 25 minutes or some dumb shit like that. Like you have to make a meaningful increase in what you're doing. Maybe run another mile every day. Maybe, do another 10, 20 minutes on the Stairmaster or the bike. Like that's going to get you that meaningful improvement, right? And I'll just say this is just a general rule for people trying to lose weight. Like, there's more than one way to skin the cat, bro. Like, some people do these crazy crash diets, and they lose a ton of weight fast, and that's going to result in, obviously, you keep a little more fat, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. There's also a lot of people that have the approach of, like, very, very slow, like, don't do any cardio and then just drop the calories down, and then the last like 2 or 3 weeks before you trying to do your event or vacation or whatever, like you drop the hammer on the cardio and you are like really just trying to lean out there at the end. Like people do it that way. And there's people like me. I really just, what I honestly tell people, for most people, because I'm trying to help people understand how to live a better lifestyle overall. We're not trying to prep for an event or anything like that most of the time. I can't do that stuff, but most of the time, what I'm telling people is like, look, if you want to eat more food, eat more food. If you want to eat less food. If you want to do more cardio, do more cardio. If you want to, you just can't eat more food and do less. Like, you can't eat more food and do nothing else and expect the weight to go down. Like you have to, like however you want to make up the calorie deficit, you make up the deficit. Like let's say your body demands 2,500 calories, and I've gone into like how to calculate this stuff on a lot of previous episodes. So if you want that, go back in the other episodes and just listen to the audio versions. But what I'm saying is, let's say your body requires 2,500 calories. However the hell you want to get in the hole is however you want to get in the hole. That's fine. Drop the 200 calories, whether that is you're eating 3,000 and you're doing enough cardio to burn 700 calories, which would suck, by the way. Or you can simply just back down the eating and come, down to here. Or like some people, like I know some people that just love food. They're total foodies, right? And so they want to eat just a little bit above that. And they're willing to do enough cardio to bring it down to here with the deficit. Like, you do it however you want. There is more than one way to skin the cat. There's more than one way to lose weight, and everybody can lose weight. Everyone that I've coached has been able to lose weight. So that's it for today. That's just basic ideas of how to continue in a weight loss journey if you're someone that feels like you're stalling out. This is very basic information, but if you guys want something more in depth, if you guys want advice on different things, primarily I coach people on hormones and losing weight because honestly they go hand in hand. Like it's like if you have a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle, you're going to be able to do everything from fix your hormones to fix your mood to fix your energy to fix your whatever. It's just the buzzword is hormones. And I personally love hormones myself. I think they're the coolest thing. Like if I could have been an endocrinologist, I would have been. But I chose to go to chiropractic school because I think it's one of the things that is still like outside of like pushing pills, but you can still help patients in a meaningful way. So that's what I did. I chose chiropractic. But if I were to go in traditional medicine, I would have, like, into Western medicine, I would have gone and been, like, an endocrinologist or something like that. Or internal medicine. Anyways, that's not what we're doing today. This is how you lose weight, guys. If you want more advice, if you want advice on a different topic, if you guys want advice on something really close to this, just let me know in the comments down below. You're going to be able to tell me what you want. And I also am going to link the Instagram as well as the Gmail. I try to get back to you guys as fast as I possibly can. Typically, it's everything under a day. Maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 5 hours, but it's almost always going to be less than a day's time. That's it for you guys. I love you guys. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy.